each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yep, good afternoon. Why does it keep doing that? Keeps flipping on me. I'm all done sharing. That's it. I'm so used to taking 2 minutes to share all these places, and um, yeah, I just don't need to anymore. It's part of keeping it simple. Sometimes less is better, and it has not affected my count at all. It hasn't affected my count. Um, Sometimes you'll see people just shove their stuff into all these places, and I thought that was the way to do it years ago, but I quit doing that a long time ago. I had, aside from my own group, two other places I was sharing, but nothing was really coming out of it. There's so many different things out there right now that it's hard to be noticed doing stuff like this. And I can tell you, since I've been doing this, I've watched a lot of people come and go. A lot of people come and go, you know. And I ask questions. I'm driving people on Instagram a little crazy. There was this one ad that I just saw, and the first thing that they did was, "Do you not want to go to meetings and talk to strangers about your feelings, or do those crazy steps?" Or I mean, literally just cutting down AA. And I said, "Wow, are you really cutting down AA so that you can sell your wares? Is that what you're doing?" All I hear is that you weren't willing to do the work. What's your success rate? And they're going to come back and they're probably going to be angry, or they'll say to each way their own, or something vague, right? They may even pull out an AA term, and that's where I'll catch them. Usually it's anger. Well, what do you mean? And then I'll just say, see, you haven't even worked through your anger yet, and you're wanting to go out there and help other people. You can't transmit something you don't have here, buddy. So, yeah, kind of a shit talker. But I have a solution. I can back up my shit talking. I got receipts, my friends. I got receipts. Hey, Michelle, it's good to see you. I hope you're having a good day. I hope everybody knows that my favorite niece gave me this mug, if it's not apparent. I have a lot of nieces, but she's one more of my favorite nieces. Yes, she is. I miss her. She's been in Turkey for a while. She's going to be coming back. She went there for a year. And good on her. Good on her to go and see another way of life and help people out. And um, she's had a lot of problems in her life, so I'm hoping that this helps her, kind of heal from a lot of things. And I'm proud of her. It's not easy for somebody to uproot everything and go to another country to help out. And anybody that I got a couple of friends that do that. Leanna, some of you know, from the grassroots meeting, she went out to Ukraine a couple of times to help people out. Um, I very much support those people. I can't do it myself. I'm not allowed out of the country. So I make it sound like I'm some criminal. It's child support. I'd be like, oh, yeah. Everybody assumed I didn't have my driver's license because of a DUI, which I get why you would assume that. No, it was child support. Welcome to Daily Trudge. Right? If you were here earlier, I went and did my kids' dishes, and then we came up with a solution that would be good for everyone. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. What I wanted to do in that situation was get my point across, but let them know that they are always welcome here. I didn't want my kids to move in. I was against it, but I like them being here. They get on my nerves quite often, but it's a joy to see, a lot of people get on my nerves. It's just kind of how it is. All right. But, it's nice to see them every day. It's nice to know what's going on in their lives and stuff. So, yeah. All right. So, but yeah, I know. And it isn't so much it that as it is that piercing wind. That piercing wind. It reminds me of and hi, Amber. And that's not helping your back much either, the cold. Um, I was in work release and we had a huge freaking snowstorm. This was in Jefferson County by the foothills. And if you think it gets windy here, no, it gets really windy there. And what usually takes us 10 minutes took us 45 minutes to get from the bus stop to work release. Okay. And it's an open field that you're going through. Okay. And talk about trudging. Yeah. It took us 45 minutes. I mean, you were walking against the wind. It was almost like that part in Lord of the Rings where they're taking the ring and they go over the mountain. Yeah. So yeah, that piercing wind. Ugh, look, I went outside just to bring my trash cans. I'm like, that's enough for me. All right, let's get to the topic, but for the grace of God. I've been trying to mix things up and kind of stay not necessarily out of the book, but to bring you things that relate to what it is that we're doing, that a lot of things that are used in cognitive behavioral therapy and the different things that I have done, right? Like yesterday we talked about empathy and apathy. Yeah, we were kind of, yeah. Yeah, at that point, I would have rather gone through Moria and dealt with the Balrog. Yeah. All right. So I asked Google what in Alcoholics Anonymous it means. It tends to, AI. The thing is, I'm not a fan of AI because it's taking away a lot of things, but it's extremely useful for some things. So, all right, in Alcoholics Anonymous, but for the grace of God means that if it weren't for a higher power, divine intervention, the speaker would be in the same difficult situation as the person they observing. It's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it, right? Because usually, if I'm working with a newcomer, but for the grace of God, go I. Those people that we see walking on the streets, the people that we see having a hard time, the people that we see that are angry all the time. Yes, but for the grace of God, that is me. And what does that do? Well, it helps me understand that they are a child of God also, and that they are going through problems like I did. And guess what that provides? Empathy. Takes you right back to empathy. This is empathy right here. Now, but for the grace of God, go I is not a gratitude thing for me. It might be for other people. I'm grateful I'm not that way anymore, but that doesn't honestly really go through my mind. I am grateful for who I am today. That's a little different because now I'm just talking about me and I'm not involving someone else. Essentially acknowledging that anyone could be struggling with addiction if not for, I asked about alcoholics, not addiction. Sorry, alcoholism and addiction are different. If not for the fortunate circumstances of a change of heart, it emphasizes humility and the idea that sobriety is a gift not to be taken for granted. That, yes, absolutely. We could be grateful for that. That we should not, you cannot take your sobriety for granted. Mm-mm. Okay. How do I see people taking their sobriety for granted? You know, I'm going to intentionally walk down the alcohol aisle just to test myself. Hmm. That's taking advantage of it. Not going to meetings, not helping other people, not doing the work. Yeah, these are all different ways that we can take it for granted, resting on our laurels, taking success today for yesterday's stuff. These are ways that alcoholics take it for granted. Key points about the phrase: grace signifies a gift or a favor given freely. Okay. In the big book, it says what we have received is a free gift. What is the free gift? It's the elimination of the obsession for alcohol. Usually happens by step 4. A lot of times it does. Not always. Okay. But that obsession only came, okay. What in a sense was it free? All right. Because if we think about it, I mean, it is. I'm going to go for that. It is, but let's look at a different context. How long did it take you to complete step one? You're gonna say, "Oh, pretty quick." No, no, no. How long did you drink? That's how long step one took. That's how long step one took. Whatever your drink, however long your drinking career was, until you came down, right? We got to do the whole thing. A lot of people tend to think things like relapse only happen once you get sober. That's not true, right? If you ever promised anyone that you would never drink again, including yourself, and you went back out and drank, that's a relapse. Okay. It isn't that certain things don't happen until you get to AA. No. Okay. So step one is the longest step. It's not step four. It's not, because it took an entire lifetime. So was it free? You gave up a lot of things, didn't you? Gave up, relationships, jobs, cars, material things, right? But those are material things. The only thing that I think would really account here would be, because then this is where we're all even. My soul. Me. Now, was it a free gift? Once you decide to not do that anymore, yes, it becomes a free gift, because you really shouldn't be doing anything action in the first 3 steps. That's my experience. Some people give out homework, things like that. And I'm not going to give people crap about that anymore, or today anyway. At the same time, I see the significance in helping somebody understand that they really truly are an alcoholic, so they can do that step 100%. Maybe they don't know. See, if we think on these things a little bit more, then they can apply. I just heard somebody say in a meeting that when they think other people aren't working their program, they don't listen to them because they think they don't have anything to offer. There's no way I would work that way. I listen to everybody at the meeting. And the reason that I do that is because God talks through his people, and I don't get to choose which one. That would be denote power or control. And it's clearly what happens when I have it. I fuck it up. I end up on Skid Row. I end up drunk. All right. Now, because there's been plenty of times there's a person I'm still working on doing whatever, right? Well, outside, even that person said something to me once that made sense, and I followed through, and it worked. It worked. Why am I going to cut off my nose to spite my face? You can't do that. Got to remain open-minded. And guess what? It's really fucking hard to do. Because I want to judge them. See, that's why I have friends like Amber and Michelle that I can write to and say, this person pissed me off, and and you 10-step it. I wrote somebody in the meeting. It was actually it was one of my sponsees, right? But they knew what I was talking about, and I was able to get it off my chest and move on. They're like, that's why I went for a walk during the meeting. I was getting a little frustrated. But I have been hearing from people, and this is a very big compliment, and they're telling me, they're like, yeah, I go to your meeting. It's totally different. I'm like, okay, first of all, it's not my meeting. It's not mine. Okay. But it was intentionally done that way. I want people to feel welcome. You know what I do? I ask God for the right words, and then I keep my fucking mouth shut. I don't run them. I chair the meeting, but I don't run it. No. No. In fact, it's quite often where when I chair a meeting, once I bring up the topic, I only talk about it for about a minute, because you already been listening to me for 10, 12 minutes. And it's now time for a different voice. So when you're chairing, you don't really get the choice to share. Maybe later in the meeting or something. That's how I do it, because I'm doing service work. And my job as a chairperson is to have no dead air time. if we're just sitting there picking our nose, then why the fuck are we even there? That's the way I see it. Okay. Some people are okay with it. It isn't that it bothers me, but when I go to a meeting and there's silence for 2 or 3 minutes, I tend to wonder why people are at the meeting. Yeah. Even today it happened. I called on someone and they said, I really didn't want to talk today, but by the time they were done, they were saying, I'm glad I got to share today. Thank you for making me feel a part of the meeting. I did my job. I did my job. I helped somebody out today because I did that. Now, are they going to think directly of me doing that? No, and they don't need to. Sometimes people just need a little bit of encouragement. Oh, you noticed me. Because it's a tag meeting. I'm not big on tag meetings because then it feels like a mutual admiration society. So when I'm in a tag meeting, I pick somebody that usually isn't picked on because I know what it means to feel left out even in a meeting. Yes. In fact, Michelle, and I hope you don't mind, in the last meeting, I thought because there's 2 Michelles in there and I mixed it up, but it was still on me. But Michelle hadn't shared yet. We were at the end of the meeting. I'm like, oh wait, you haven't had a chance. There's always time. We always had time for one more drink. We got time for one more share. I don't give a fuck that it goes over an hour. It should. That means it was a great meeting. And these meetings are small, and we talked the whole meeting. We don't even do the 7th step yet, right? Okay, anyway. Grace signifies a gift or a favor given freely. In this context, it refers to the ability to overcome addiction, which is seen as something beyond personal willpower alone. We get that, right? Let me say something about willpower. You do have it. You do. It's those choices that you make. Your willpower comes back, but it isn't a willpower in the sense that it was that you have to get through it alone. Aha. Now, when I culminate Amber's willpower and Michelle's willpower and mine, now I'm triple the willpower plus the higher power. Just a different way of looking at it. Now, when it comes to drinking, once I take that first drink, all willpower is over with. Once I make the decision to drink and I drink, all willpower is now gone, including my higher powers. Emphasize share vulnerability. And that's what I was kind of talking about earlier, those people that were cutting down. Do you want to sit around a room of a group of people? What they forgot to mention was those people understand where you're coming from. Okay. And when I see people put, first of all, if you see something and it is sponsored, it's already bullshit. It's already bullshit. Why would you pay? I would never, ever pay Facebook to promote one of my videos. And they ask me quite often, we'll give you a $20 credit if you spend. Why? Why? So I can pay you to have 5 people show up that really didn't like what I did anyway? Now, to me, that's promoting, and that's not something I'm allowed to do. Maybe other people can get away with it, but I doubt it. I doubt it. All right. Here's the other thing I look for. I look in the eyes. The eyes tell me everything. You could be running your mouth all you want, but your eyes are the pathway to your soul, and I can see it even on video. And if they ain't shining, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. You want to know when your eyes shine? When God's talking through you. When you're possessed by the spirit of a higher power. Yeah, that's when the eyes shine. That's why my eyes shine almost all the time. I love it. I love it. I love looking at my eyes and seeing them go ding. All right. Not always. Sometimes I come here, right? So shared vulnerability by saying, but for the grace of God, go I. A person acknowledges that they could be in the same situation as someone else struggling with addiction, if not for their own unique circumstances. I'm glad that they're bringing up the different viewpoints because those are the 2 that I thought of also. So, see, and I like that because then it verifies that I'm kind of on the right track, you know. Now, this would be the next question that probably would go through my head. Let's say I see somebody else struggling, right? I'm like, but for the grace of God, go I. So be grateful for what you have and grace. But now, what am I going to do about it? Am I going to let them flounder, or am I going to approach them and say, hey, do you need somebody to hold space for you so you can talk a little bit, man? Okay. So once we spot it, we got to feel responsible, man. That we must do something about it. Oh, but I only have so it. I have found, you know, okay, a lot of the people that I associate with have a lot less quote unquote time than I do. I'm going to tell you something. It doesn't fucking matter. If I only listened to people that had more time or more, I would never get anywhere. I wouldn't get anywhere, man. Right? So when you 10th step with your own sponsee, they're like, oh shit, we are on the same level. It brings more. It just brings more, and it's all good. So, all right. Not necessarily religious. We'll cover it, even though we already know. We already know. While God is using the phrase, many AA members interpret it as a higher power or force greater than themselves, allowing diverse spiritual beliefs within the program. That's 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 AA 101 for us, right? All right. All right. What else do we also say? Looking for Grace in Big Book here. Okay, give me a second here. I apologize. Here's a couple of things. Like here, true ambition is the deep desire to live usefully and walk humbly under the grace of God, right? Understanding that it's there. Okay, I'm not doing a very good job of that part, so we're gonna get and I'm pretty much done here. But what else does but for the grace of God mean? It also means you spot it, you got it. To me, it does, right? So this person is over here, they're struggling with something and it's upsetting me. So, but for the grace of God, go I. But am I doing this also? Are they doing something that I don't like about me, but I am unwilling to face at the moment? And I can even still not want to face it, but be honest with myself that it is there. You can do that. And what that does is it makes me realize that probably the best way for me to get through this is to help them with it. And then I can get to a point, and instead of fighting against that, now I'm going to sit down and we're both going to talk about a problem we're both having. And then together we can come up with a solution. And I guarantee you that solution is going to be better than any one that probably went through my head. Right? Good example is just, I want to wring my kid's neck about the kitchen, but that's going to do no good. There had to be an agreement. We had to come together to solve it. Not that this way, nothing's going to get done. And it'll be done out of anger. Okay. And it needs to be done with a good attitude and that it's okay to do it and get it done. Right. Now, I did have to start with an example, so I cleaned the kitchen. Yes, I did. Okay. And they got home, I had sent them a message. And, it's just, hey, you guys let me know what's the easiest way, and we'll just kind of set it that way for you. And that way but I need communication. I need to know what you need from me. I'm the father. I'm the dad in this situation. Yeah, I may be a stepdad, but I feel like your dad. And my job is to help you. And so let me do that. See, isn't that a much better way than, Listen, you fucking disrespect me. They know that. They know that. I don't need to beat a dead horse. They understand that. Right? Yeah. You think that's the easy way? No, it's not. But for the grace of God, go I. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. 2 days now of not being able to shut up. Having a good day again, man. This morning I wanted to fight again. And I'm like, nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's not true. I ended up giving somebody some shit on Instagram. So that's not totally true. It isn't necessarily, to me, that isn't really necessarily a bad attitude as much as it is confronting people that are manipulating others to make money off of them while they're down. That just sounds like justifying to me, doesn't it? But I ain't going to stop either. So I'm not going to stop. Maybe it's a character defect I need to look at. See how we can still be willing to want to look at it, but we don't. I'll give another one. Okay, ADHD. Now I totally deny it. No, I go as far as say it doesn't exist. It's made up. Okay. Now I'm not saying that if you have ADHD and you're working through things that you don't. I'm just talking about my belief that sometimes the government makes shit up. And if you tell yourself something long enough, you will believe it and you will become it. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Listen to me ramble a little bit. I love you. Oh, that's the other thing. Okay. I keep hearing people do this. Oh, I'm talking too long, so I'm just going to shut. Quit talking to yourself like that. Do not apologize because you felt like you rambled a little bit. I will never apologize. Oh, I'm sorry I went too long. Fuck you. No. That doesn't mean don't be respectful, but we got to stop with the I'm rambling and I'm sorry I went on too long when it didn't even occur. Okay? Quit talking about yourself that way, or you will continue to do it and you will keep your self esteem at a minimum. Okay? No, I never apologize for believing in God or trusting in God. And therefore, if I go to a meeting and I ask God for the right words and He gives them to me, I'm not going to fucking apologize for it. No, I'm not going to demean myself or remove things from myself for the comfortability of other people. That's not going to happen. So, all right. So quit doing that to yourselves. You're worth more than that. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard either one of you say it. So just something I had to bitch about with the meeting, I guess. All right. I love you. Peace out. I gotta go clean the